Support for the Leadoff on WGLT and WGLT.org comes from the Central Illinois Regional Airport, where travelers are one stop away from world destinations. Connections on Delta Airlines to Atlanta are available daily. Close, convenient, CIRA. More at CIRA.com.
McLean County has set 5 behavioral health priority areas to address through the next year. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day for Thursday, August 8th. I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with 7 Illinois State University students who have sued the university for what they say is an infringement of their First Amendment rights. WGLT's Lauren Warnicki reports.
The group of students who self-identify as the ISU 7 say they were unfairly suspended and arrested for protesting the war in Palestine. The group further demanded ISU disclose and divest from donors and contractors with ties to Israel. The lawsuit states numerous instances of protests taking place in and around Hovey Hall and states they were issued interim suspensions and no trespass orders with no warning. WGLT reporting from May contradicts this claim. The students further accuse ISU Dean of Students Andrew Morgan of being a Zionist who infringed on their First Amendment rights by, quote, punishing the plaintiffs for their pro-Palestinian protest. Morgan joined ISU as Assistant Vice President and Dean of Students in January 2023. On October 9th of last year, he added an Israeli flag to his Facebook profile photo without comment. WGLT reached out to Cheryl Weichel, the attorney acting on behalf of the students, to request further evidence of bias towards Israel. Weichel declined to comment on pending litigation. Through the lawsuit, the group seeks to be reinstated at the university and compensated $50,000 per plaintiff plus legal fees. Illinois State University declined a request for information about the terms or timeline of the students' interim suspension or a proposed course of action to reinstate their enrollment and access to campus facilities and housing. A hearing is set for November 6th. For The Leadoff, I'm Lauren Warnicki.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. Governor J.B. Pritzker has signed a trio of bills aimed to protect access to reproductive health care in Illinois. One measure guarantees the right to life-saving care, including abortion, even if federal protections get rolled back. Another does not allow local or state agencies to share any information with another state that wants to prosecute someone for coming to Illinois for an abortion or gender-affirming care. 7 people were displaced following an apartment fire in Bloomington yesterday morning. It happened on Willadrob Drive near Four Seasons Road. No one was injured. A dog was rescued from the apartment. And McLean County has its first positive test for West Nile virus this year. That mosquito-borne virus was detected in a dead crow found in Normal. The McLean County Health Department plans to go door-to-door in the area near where the bird was found to share information about symptoms and preventative measures. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. McLean County has 5 behavioral health priority areas to address through 2025. They were selected by the Behavioral Health Coordinating Council, a newly independent advisory body. WGLT's Melissa Ellen spoke to council members about what the priorities are and how they plan to address them.
The Behavioral Health Coordinating Council is narrowing the scope of what it plans to address over the next year. Historically, the group has used broad language and priorities to guide spending recommendations and initiatives. But for this year and next, the group will focus on 5 key areas. In short, they are to educate on resources, advance services and access for vulnerable populations, increase safe and temporary shelter, expand the behavioral health workforce, and explore opportunities to share health data across service providers. Director of Behavioral Health Coordination for the county is Marita Landreth. She says the annual goals give the Behavioral Health Coordinating Council an express purpose.
We're focusing in on a specific time frame, which is going to give us a lot more opportunity to focus on the needs right now while also kind of considering that big picture.
Over the next few months, Landreth says the council will be more clearly defining the financial commitment each strategic priority may require. Members will also develop a proposal of sorts that can guide those making spending decisions for taxpayer dollars in 2025. Funding and initiatives for the 5 priorities do not come from taxes alone. Behavioral Health Coordinating Council members are expected to think of initiatives their organizations can introduce without using public money. Interim CEO and Executive Director of PATH Crisis Center, Adam Carter, recently joined the Coordinating Council. He says PATH is already addressing the need for expanded education on behavioral health resources. He says the organization has a puppet show in the works that's geared toward helping children understand the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Carter points out that children can have thoughts about suicide from a surprisingly young age.
We know children don't have a permanency understanding of death, but they understand pain and they understand not wanting to be in pain.
PATH's Homeless Services Division is also helping the region secure grant funding for permanent supportive housing and rapid rehousing programs. Carter says it's possible Central Illinois could wind up with about $2 million for those initiatives. That would directly address the issue of safe and temporary shelter. Other strategic priorities, including the bullet point on data sharing across healthcare providers, may take more time to address. There are privacy concerns and lots of different databases in play. Despite the work it may take, Normal Town Council member and Behavioral Health Coordinating Council member Kevin McCarthy says it's a venture worth the effort. He says that it could help answer some important questions.
How do we assess what we're doing? How good or needy are we in this area? And then how do we start to define what it is that we're actually going to achieve? What is better and what is best?
Bloomington City Council member and Behavioral Health Council representative Donna Bolin says she imagines some of the priorities may not be resolved by end of 2025.
It may end up being complicated and it may carry over to the next year. You know, you really don't know when you can set strategic goals, but to actually accomplish them, you may run into barriers, roadblocks, and have to pivot.
Still, Bolin says she hopes the council can close the loop on as many strategic priorities as possible. I'm Melissa Ellen.
Melissa Ellen covers mental health as a Report for America Corps member. Report for America places journalists in local newsrooms across the country to cover underreported topics.
Support for WGLT mental health coverage comes from Report for America and Chestnut Health Systems, caring for the community's physical and mental health and celebrating 50 years of service.
And before we let you go, Bloomington's Human Relations Commission meets today at 4:30 in the police department's Osborne Room. On the agenda is an update on this year's local Diwali celebration. And that's it for today. I'm Ryan Denham. The show was produced by Rosalie Trubeck. You can subscribe to the Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you listen.